When I'm jumping, I pretty much black out.
For the world record.
I'd say time kind of stops, but then at the same time, it kind of goes faster than anything. My body just basically takes over my mind, so I don't really remember what happens.
Mondo Duplantis is over. 6:21, a new world record.
I've pole vaulted for as long as I can remember. And I can't remember a time I wasn't pole vaulting. I think I started when I was like 3 or 4. So I know I have videos of myself actually pole vaulting when I was 4 years old. So I started at least when I was 4. So no, I don't. Pole vaulting has always been a part of my life, and so it's kind of a little bit strange and a little bit weird to even think of a life outside of pole vaulting, because it's such a big part of what I do, big part of who I am at this point. I love to play soccer. I love to play baseball, and I like pretty much all of the ball sports, honestly. But definitely soccer and baseball. Those are the ones that I would really play pretty seriously besides pole vaulting. But nothing was ever really, I don't think, going to take me away from pole vaulting, because I think that I enjoyed it too much. I was too good at it also, and it was just my thing. And I think I knew that from a very early age and very early on that pole vaulting was pretty much what I was meant to do. It was my first time pretty much competing internationally, and it was my first time competing for Sweden. So it was it was a crazy experience for me. I was nervous in so many different ways. I was nervous about meeting this new team in Sweden. I was nervous about competing on the international stage for the first time, competing against people from all over the world. And you know, I've always been good at pole vaulting, and I've always been good, especially in, you know, the little pole vault world that I was in, and the pole vault bubble that I was in the United States and Sweden at the time. But to be able to compete against everybody and compete against an international field, it's a completely different experience. And that was the real World Championships to me, and that meant everything for me. And so yeah, and I was able to win. I walked away with the gold for my first ever competition for Sweden, and first international one. So it was yeah, no, it was sweet. An athlete can only get so far by himself, and I mean, you need that help, and you need that right team around you. I mean, I think if you look at the athletes that end up being the best in the world, or the best to ever live, it's something, you know, of course, that you have to have a lot of talent and a lot of skill in whatever you may be doing, and there's a lot of things that are on the athlete. But for an athlete to go to that next level, you need the right team around you. And to be able to have my father, who I think that for me, as far as the way that he thinks about pole vaulting and the way that he thinks about the technique of pole vaulting, I don't think that there's anybody better in the game than him. And I think that that's a combination of him being a student of the event, and then also having a pretty tough career, in the sense of having a lot of ups and downs and having a lot of failures. And I think that a lot of the failures and the tough periods that he had within the sport and within pole vaulting, that's what taught him everything. And so a lot of the struggles and a lot of the mistakes that he was able to make, I'm able to learn from that through him, so I don't have to make the same. I think that one thing that my parents do very well, and especially my mom, is at the end of the day, they're my parents, and they're still my mom and they're still my dad. And we figured out at this point how to have a good balance between when they need to be a coach to me and a trainer, and when they need to be just my parents. And I think that finding a balance as an athlete is such an important thing, especially on the mental side of sports. And you know, just knowing when things are about the sport and what we do on that side of life, and when things are just normal, and things are what they are, and things are just, you know, having Christmas with the family, and things are just being normal and doing what families do, you know. Yeah, well, I was in good shape. I was in good shape in Oregon.
Mondo Duplantis of Sweden, the world champion, clear for takeoff for a world record. Oh, he's got it! He's got it! My goodness! Oh! That's the moment we all wanted, and he's delivered again.
The way the season was set up for me, it was it was so nice, and I was able to have a nice string of meets leading up to the World Championships, and then I was able to go back to Louisiana, which I hadn't been there in a little while. I felt so relaxed and I felt so calm going into the championships, and I've never had that kind of mindset. At the end of the day, I was kind of going in there with the mindset that I knew that I deserved to be there, and I knew that I deserved to be in the position that I'm in, and I know that I was a huge favorite for the event, but there's a reason for that, and it's because I've been jumping really well, and I know that that's the kind of thing that I do. I go out there and I jump well.
So here's Mondo, the last athlete left here at this meet, asking the Hayward crowd field for help. Hopefully they appreciate what they're going to watch. Hopefully they appreciate a chance that they're going to help him. That's 6:21 for the world record. Mondo Duplantis is up. Mondo Duplantis is over. 6:21, a new world record. The absolute world record. The crowd is flipped as well.
How could we finish any other way than with a world record from the greatest pole vaulter our sport has ever seen?
Being able to celebrate victories like a World Championships and a world record with the people that are closest to you, like Desiree, like my mom, like my dad. I also had one of my childhood buddies from Louisiana who's never seen me jump professionally, never seen me jump since high school. That was there also. And so for him to be able to see that kind of moment also was, yeah, it's hard to explain, really. I don't know why I did a front flip. It just happened. I think I had so much energy, and I think when I ran off on the pit, and I was just kind of like, I started jumping around in this kind of weird way to where it just kind of set myself up into doing a front flip. I don't really know exactly why it happened, but I promise it was not planned. It was not something that I've ever practiced before. It would have been a pretty big bummer if I wouldn't have landed it the way that I did, but I did stick the landing. And I think that I shouldn't end on that. I don't think that I should be doing any more front flips, because I feel like it's doomed to go worse than it did that last time. So I'm 1 for 1, and I think I should just keep it at that with the front flips. But no, it was cool. It's another World Championships year here in Budapest, and yeah, I mean, that's the main goal. That's the main goal. That's where I want to be at my best, and that's where I'm trying to have my focus for the year, to have my peak. And if I could do something a little bit similar to Eugene, I think that would be pretty amazing. To be able to even just do something like break a world record at a World Championships even once in your career, I think that's pretty special in itself. So it doesn't have to happen every time, but as long as I can go to Budapest and get the gold for the second time and defend my title, then that would be that'd be a good year.